Hi, my name is Richard and I am an outdoor instructor here in the UK. I have over 15 years of experience working as an outdoor professional, both here in the UK and in other places in the world. And I now spend my time training people in how to do things safely and competently in various outdoor environments.
The first question is about fire steels and flint and steels. It comes from Aaron in Georgia, USA, via his private Instagram account. He has been watching YouTube and Instagram videos to practice bushcraft and came across the podcast episode that we did, the commentary of the UK Alone episode, the first one. In there, you talked about lighters and fire steels, but you didn't mention flint and steel sets. So he's interested to know, what is the better to carry in your opinion? The fire steel ferro rod or a flint and steel set?
Okay. So of those two, the ferro rod, 100%. But I should probably explain that. So a flint and steel set, so talking about you see them more for almost like reenactment kits now and historical firelighting sets. And I know that people sell them for bushcraft and various things, but they are a historical firelighting tool. It's not what you would say is a modern firelighting tool, although they were used up until sometime in the last century by some people. The way they work is that you have a very sharp, hard piece of stone, a piece of geology, flint often, which is a type of stone, and you then shape it, nap it, and get an edge on that, which is something that flint does quite readily anyway, due to the structure of it. And then you take a piece of iron, or piece of steel, high carbon steel, or actually I know originally it would have been some other ferrous or some other object that contained a lot of iron, and then you would strike one against the other. That would be normally holding the piece of flint and then bringing the steel down to it and almost just trying to strike just the very edge of it, just skim the very edge of it, and then you get a gentle shower of sparks. I think even shower is it's a bit generous. It's a sprinkling of sparks, and you try to get one of those sparks to land on something that will then take that spark and develop into an ember. So that could be a piece of char cloth, or it could be a piece of Daldinia concentrica fungus, or one of the other things that will take a spark. And you would carry those things together as a set, so that when you use them in the right way and they've been stored in the right way, you can generate a spark wherever you are, and then get that spark glowing into an ember that you can then put into a bundle of dry tinder, which then goes into the kindling, and then you have a fire. A ferro rod does that, but better, and it does it more reliably in a package that's easier to store. It relies less on being transported carefully. It's lighter, inexpensive. You can have lots of them. You can have them on your key ring. You can have them in the top of your rucksack. You can have them in your pocket. You can have them in all sorts of places. So a ferro rod is a pyrophoric alloy that you then take a hard, sharp-edged object. Normally they come with a little striker, but some people use the back of their knife or the back of a folding saw or something like that, and you use that to take a shaving of that off, and that will then combust into a shower of sparks, and that really is a shower of sparks. You also see that in another configuration. It's the little thing that's under the flick wheel on a Zippo lighter, and other lighters like that. So that kind of rod has become a staple of outdoor equipment for a few decades now, and they're great. I have lots. I have them all over my kit. There's one on top of my rucksack, there's one on my belt there, there's one on my pocket here, there's a set on my keys. I think I even have one of the tiny ones on my the little corkscrew of my penknife that I carry every day. So I have a lot of them because they are genuinely useful and they have minimal care required. They will also light gas stoves, and I tend to use them more often for that, to be honest. So they are a genuinely useful, cheap, easy to carry, easy to maintain, easy to use item. So ferro rod over a flint and steel set every day. The only reason, I mean, you can use whatever you want, and if you're watching this thinking, well, I've got my flint and steel set that I lovingly crafted and I found that flint and I made this striker, yeah, if that's an object for you, that's fine. But if you're looking at that whole list of what makes an item the better thing for that situation, for that use, then the ferro rod is going to be better than the flint and steel on almost every one of those metrics. But if you've got a personal attachment to it, then fine, that's great. It is also a skill. It takes some practice to be able to get an ember going from a flint and steel set. So it is a skill that is, if you're interested in that kind of thing, it is worth learning, and you can then say, okay, well, I can use the back of my high carbon steel knife as the steel and use a piece of flint and get a spark going that way. So there are maybe some survival cases and uses for it. So it's a good skill to have and know how it works. And I've got a couple of sets. There's one in the barrel that we use when we're demonstrating firelighting techniques on courses, but it's not something I advocate as something that, oh yeah, you've got to have 3 of these sets and scatter them around your kit, because eventually you are just carrying a bag of pebbles and a big piece of steel around with you. So a ferro rod will do pretty much the same thing, but better, and it's in a more repeatable way. Something that wasn't in the question, really, I don't think, is there something better than either of them? And yes, there is. It's the lighter. It's just the flick wheel lighter. Even cheaper, even easier to use. They do have a lifetime. You can damage them. You'll eventually run out of the lighter fluid in there. Some of them you can refill. Some of them are just disposable, but they work. They work well. If you get the right type, they have the flick wheel with a tiny ferro rod under the flick wheel anyway, so you've still got the sparky bit, even if you've lost the flame. So those lighters, those almost disposable lighters that you can buy, you're buying a pack of 5 or a pack of 10, spread those throughout your kit, because not only do you get the sparks that you can get then to make an ember or to ignite something else that's flammable, you have the flame. You can hold it there and there's a flame coming out of it. So it actually moves you on a stage in your firelighting. And for me, firelighting, whether it's just when we're filming the videos like this and we've got a fire lit, or whether it's part of a course or part of a trip, or just day-to-day life at home, because our whole home is heated by wood-burning stoves. I don't light fires every time with a flint and steel or a fire steel. I use a lighter or matches generally, because it is more reliable. It is within the bounds of the resources I have and what I'm willing to expend in terms of money and time and space, and it works 99.5% of the time. And every time it doesn't work, I go, oh, that doesn't work. I'll go and get the other lighter. And I just remember to replace it and periodically replace them. So having a set of lighters scattered throughout your kit and maybe 1 or 2 ferro rods is probably as resilient as you're likely to get without going mad. I generally have, if I'm out doing a trip where lighting a fire is going to be useful and it is going to be potentially a necessary part of that trip, I will have a ferro rod clipped to my person, not just in an outer jacket. It's normally in something I'm not removing apart from at the end of the day. So there's one clipped to my trousers or to my belt or something like that. Because even if I was canoeing or ended up in a river somewhere and floating downstream and I haul myself out at the other end, I have the means of lighting fire. Although, to be honest, if I was canoeing, I would carry a better fire lighting pack that had lighters and really good, reliable ignition and flame sources, so I could get a fire going very, very quickly if I needed to. So at a very base level, ferro rod is better than a flint and steel set, and a lighter is a better option than both. So a lighter and ferro steel combination is going to get you pretty much where you need to go. So hopefully that answers it. Aaron. Was it Aaron?
It was Aaron.
It was Aaron. Thank you, Aaron. Thank you for watching this video. We have some other videos like it on the channel. We also produce series of podcasts, so you can find them here. They're also available on all major podcast platforms. We have a Discord server that you can join. We have our other social media channels. They're all linked on this page somewhere, or they are linked in the notes below this video. So either way, thank you for watching. I'll see you again next time.